The story starts in a world full of magic, and all humans used magic on a daily basis. In this world there existed a boy who did not fit the concept of the world. He lived in the forest and his name was Mash. He trained like crazy every day and his favorite food was cream puffs. Then we see Mash's father, Retro Burned. He was 75 years old. He drank tea and said that nothing can upset him anymore because of his accumulated life experience. Suddenly Mash accidentally destroyed the door. His father was angry with Mash and asked why he had destroyed the door. So Mash replied that he forgot whether to push or pull to open the door. Then Mash tried to fix the door and Mash was a bit clumsy and accidentally destroyed the door. So Mash apologized to his father. After that his father asked if Mash had completed his training schedule for the day. Then Mash wanted to know why all of his workouts are physical. His father didn't want to tell him that he's not an ordinary person who can't use magic. Then his father wanted to go into town and said that he shouldn't break the door. Again, Mash said he already had forgotten if he had to pull or push to open the door. Before his father went into town, he forbid Mash from going into town alone. When his father was gone, he looked at a flyer about cream puffs. Followed Mash decided to break the promise and he wanted to go into town to buy some delicious cream puffs. Mash had arrived in the town and all he saw was that all humans can use magic. Then he discovered the cream puff store. When he was paying, he accidentally crushed the coins and the pastry chef was afraid of his strength. Following this, Mash repaired the coins back to normal and the pastry chef was overcome with fear. Suddenly a strong wind blew and people saw that Mash didn't have a mark on his face. Everyone was scared of Mash and stared at him. Then we see the magic policeman Brad, who was looking at a newspaper article. Meanwhile he was torturing a criminal who stole something. The officer wanted to punish him, but suddenly he got a call about a boy without a mark. Then we see Mash. He had a guilty conscience that he broke his promise to his father. On his way home he bumped into the magic policeman Terry, who was drunk. The drunk magic policeman was angry at Mash for getting his uniform dirty. Mash then offered him a bit in cream puff as compensation. The cop got angry and slapped his cream puff out of his hand. Then Mash tore up the cop's uniform because he wanted to clean it and he didn't realize he was causing a big problem. Suddenly Terry's supervisor Brad showed up. He was looking for a boy without mark in the face. Mash didn't even notice that he was causing problems and ate his cream puffs calmly like nothing is happening. When the policeman wanted to arrest him, Mash's father showed up. He apologized and ran away with him. Brad just laughed at them and he prepared to cast a spell. As a result, he created a magic bird that was haunt Mash and his father to their home. Mash made it home unharmed and his father scolded him for breaking their promise. Mash said sorry and he was totally depressed. After that, Mash should do his morning routine again as his punishment. Then he gave his dad the cream puffs and his dad opened the door for him so he wouldn't destroy them. Again, Mash was on his way to work out again and his father was worried because he knew he couldn't hide Mash in the forest forever. Suddenly Brad showed up. He wanted to find Mash and asked Retro where his son is. Mash was work out and he completed his morning routine in just only 5 minutes. Even the animals in the forest were scared by Mash's enormous power. Then Mash decided to go back home to eat more cream puffs. Suddenly he heard policeman Brad's voice. He said that the magic police are responsible for eliminating people without magic. He also said Retro will be punished. Mash's father refused to cooperate and was thrown against the wall. Brad threatened him and attacked him with dangerous magic. Retro didn't say a word about his son. Then we see Retro's past. He was a magician without talent. In his past he was mistreated by everyone and rejected by his family because of his weak power. Since no one needed him, Retro decided to commit suicide. As he was about to take his own life, he heard a baby cry. In that moment he discovered the abandoned Mash and decided to raise him as his father. Retro vowed to always protect Mash even if they are not related by blood. Then Retro yelled for Mash to run away, hoping he could hear his words somewhere to save himself. Fred got angry and he was ready to kill Mash's father. Then Mash jumped through the door and he knocked out the magic police officers. The cop Terry underestimated Mash, followed Mash, beat him up with ease. Followed his father, wanted to know why he didn't escape and Mash replied that they are family. Brad just laughed at him and the magic cops looked down on Mash for not being able to use magic. Brad then wanted to cast a spell that he even used to defeat a dragon, so Mash was attacked by a strong spell and it resulted in an explosion. Brad couldn't believe that Mash deflected his magic with only using his hands. Brad panicked and became scared of Mash, who simply blocked his attack with ease. However, Brad wanted to use his strongest attack, so Brad fires a powerful spell at Mash, and he blocked his attacks without any problem. Then as the magician continued to fire, Mash deflected the magic like it was a volleyball. Brad kept trying to defeat Mash, but he just played with Brad. Then Mash picked up a magic wand. Mash couldn't do any magic, and he threw the magic wand at Brad like a baseball. Brad couldn't believe about his enormous power, and Mash threatened to kill him the next time. Brad suddenly started laughing and offered him a deal, so Brad said that once a year the best student is chosen by God. Mash should manage to become the God's chosen at a magic school. As a result, society would also accept him, and in return Brad demands the fortune and prestige that he would get with it. So Mash accepted Brad's offer, and they made a deal. His father was concerned for his son, but touched that Mash had grown into a good boy followed. Then Mash was determined to become the best student at the Magic Academy in order to achieve his goal of living peacefully with his father. In the days that followed, the Easton School of Magic entrance exam started for Mash. Before the first exam began, teacher Lucci watched the candidates studying. Suddenly he sees Mash, who was training with high weights. Lucci couldn't believe seeing a muscle freak in their prestigious school. Mash only looked at books on muscle building, and his father was concerned that Mash would not pass the entrance exam. Then the teacher Lucci greeted all the students. Lucci was very famous and admired by all the students. Suddenly Lucci conjured up the first exam that amazed everyone. Mash commented that he could also prepare the exam beforehand without magic. Lucci got mad at Mash, but he was adamant that Mash would fail the exam. The first written exam has been put under a spell, with candidates having to use magic to put the letters in the right order. Mash wanted to pass the exam. As a result, he threaded the letters to put themselves into the right order, so Mash was able to immediately pass the first test without magic. After that, Mash, with his strong muscles, insisted on further testing. Mash had so much physical strength that the other students thought he could use magic. Mash passed all previous tests with ease. As the next test, the students had to find their way out of a dangerous maze full of traps and monsters. In the maze, Mash was immediately approached by a girl named Lemon. She wanted to find a way out with him. She was very clumsy, and she activated on their way all the traps. Mash was depressed because they were so slow. When Mash tried to find his way alone, Lemon tried to stop him. The girl handcuffed him with a spell. Mash just freed himself with his strength, and he ran away to find the way out. Suddenly a strong monster appeared behind Lemon. The monster attacked Lemon and knocked her wand out of her hand. Lemon froze in fear, and the monster wanted to kill her. She accepted her death because she felt guilty about wanting to sabotage Mash. At the last moment Mash appeared. He punched the monster and defeated it with just one punch. Mash has risen. Lemon immediately fell in love with him. Mash then smashed the walls with his muscular strength. Everyone was scared, and they couldn't believe that Mash just made it to the finish with his muscle power. The school principal took an interest in Mash. All the students were angry with Mash, and the sensitive Mash became sad. Lemon then told the truth that teacher Lucci promised her to let her pass the exam by sabotaging Mash on the exam. She also said that Mash saved her, and he proposed to her. Mash didn't know of any proposal, but he had too much riz, so now he had a wife, and the teacher was angry with Mash. Lucci wanted to kill Mash with a strong spell, but Mash broke his wand. Suddenly the school director Wahlberg appeared. He later wanted to punish Lucci for his behavior and said that he is starting the final exam now. The last test was an interview, and Mash was teleported to another dimension. The principal then wanted to know his reason for choosing the Easton Magic School. Mash said he wanted to live a peaceful life with his father, and that's why he chose the Easton Magic School. After that, he asked why Mash saved the girl. Mash replied that his feeling told him to save her. The principal liked Mash. Finally, the headmaster summoned a giant monster and asked how he would have acted if himself were Mash's opponent. However, Retro Soul was taken hostage in the doll. The principal wanted to see how Mash would react in a desperate situation. Suddenly, Mash tried to stop the monster with his bare hands, and everyone was shocked by Mash. The school principal knew Mash was strong, and he wanted to see the answer that as a strong person, he would help the weak. Mash could prove his kindness to him. Mash passed the exam and was accepted into Easton Magic School. The following day, Mash was in class. Mash should open a lock with magic. He used his muscle power. However, the teacher was angry at Mash, and Mash said that he isn't good with magic, And the like another student was shocked by Mash bad boy attitude. He thought Mash is a troublemaker when Finn was looking for his room. He didn't want to share a room with Mash. Suddenly he found his room and couldn't see a door. Mash already broke them and they introduced them both. Finn remarked that Mash is a nice guy but a muscle freak. The two became friends and Mash offered to share his cream puffs with Finn, so the two eat delicious cream puffs.